The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The Book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered 12. Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Welcome into a Primetime Thursday presented by Prime Sportsbook here for the Bostonian versus the Book. Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault. Adam Bjorn will join us today in about 10 minutes or so. We'll check in with everything happening with Prime Thursday night football. We got college football, big NBA, big NHL. You can call it the Equinox if you want. Kind of, sort of, maybe. Tomorrow too. Yeah, with baseball starting back up again with the World Series in Game 1 happening for that. Dave, how are you? We are live on YouTube and Twitter like always, replayed on Sports Grid TV. You'll be live there tonight for the pregame show for Vikings and the Rams, replayed on Sirius XM channel 159. How are you on this Thursday?
Good, busy, excited, locked down some plans for next week. Roll Call Friday every week is a big day for us.
It is.
But, turns into something a little bit bigger for next week. Can we say it yet? Are we allowed to say it yet?
Yeah, we're allowed to announce it. And it's really going to be exciting because we've joked around about horse racing for a long time, and an interview at the Super Bowl started a relationship with us and the folks at the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, right when you're about to announce this big thing, you freeze.
And back.
All right.
So we have a conversation about what's going to happen for us at the Super Bowl. Randy Moss came on the program, and
not the guy that played wide receiver in the NFL.
The horse guy. The horse guy, Randy Moss, came on, and we had a great relationship. We started a great conversation with his people, and it led down the path to an invitation on Friday for us to take BVB on the road. We will be live from the Breeders' Cup Roadshow happening from Del Mar. It is happening Friday from 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours. We will be live day one of racing for the Breeders' Cup, the World Championships. This is a monster event in the sports in the horse racing world. As I said on, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever, there are, 3 major things. No disrespect to the Belmont. I think the Belmont's fun, but it's only big if there's a Triple Crown potential. The Derby, the Preakness, and the Breeders' Cup. I've never been to any of them. So this is a bucket list crossover for us to head on out to San Diego, to Del Mar happening. I'm super excited to see what's going to happen here in the next couple of days for us to plan this out and go.
It's amazing how things sometimes just happen fast, and this happened fast. So we're going to be there. Ideally spend the day at the track, which back in the day, it's always fun to do. So we're going to be there. We'll get everything set up. We got a guy out there. Our guy Newbie is hopefully going to shoot down the freeway, help out with the production, help us out with the show. He's not a horse guy either. I'm not really a horse guy, despite the fact that things happen that, lead you believe that I'm a horse guy. I'm trying to get in touch with people to see if we can get in a winner's circle for one of the pictures or something. If something happens the right way, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know who's running yet. I don't have the scratches. I don't even know the entries, but Friday's a big day. Saturday's a big day in horse racing.
Which is bigger, Friday or Saturday?
Different races, different, Friday they make big, it's almost like the Oaks and the Derby.
Okay.
The Oaks, for horse guys, it's a big day. Overall, big picture wise, Saturday's bigger, but there's no real horse big thing happening. There's no the Derby winner, all that other stuff. It's not. So I was.
Coachy says Saturday's bigger than Friday.
Saturday's way bigger handle.
Okay.
Way bigger races.
Okay.
The races Saturday all have names. The distaff, the classic, different things. One of the races Friday has a big name. So
the classic is like the Derby, is the Kentucky Derby, Run for the Roses type. That's the big Breeders' Cup race.
Yeah, the horse of the year gets that race. The everything, all the money, and the life-changing thing for the horse when they get to go and make more horses, and the owners get to get paid for them making more horses. If you know what I'm saying.
Such a weird concept, but true.
I mean, listen. You run real fast, you win a race, and you get to go do that the rest of your life.
It's not bad.
It ain't a bad way to ride out retirement.
So that happens on Friday. Yeah. It'll allow us to get the hell out of this town for a day, because I was on the Strip last night, Dave. Like, did you know what's going on down there right now for the F1 race?
Yeah. I can't believe. I mean, you must really be in love if you got to go down to the Strip. This November.
I was at the Bellagio last night. It was just I couldn't get over it. I was literally stopped in front of the Bellagio, and they have that gargantuan, ugly looking thing that they've built, and I'm just staring at it, and I'm like, that's for one weekend.
Yep.
They're building all of this. They're blocking everyone's ability to see the fountains at the Bellagio.
Unless you go up and around and see them.
That's where I was. That's what I did. I went up and around. I was in the Bellagio, so I went out and had it. But like, I was so frustrated going, this is one weekend. Like, we do all of this, all of that ugly, whatever they call it, the stuff that's over the top of the street. Like, I don't know how it goes, but whatever that scaffolding is called, it's all over the Strip right now. It looks horrible. It looks ugly.
Looks great on TV.
Sure, for a weekend. Yeah, it's great because the lights are there. It looks good, but everything else is just, I keep on shaking my head, and the room rates are plummeting. No one's buying tickets. This thing is an abject disaster waiting to happen coming up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
This is the F1 portion of the show, and don't be surprised to see us doing a show sponsored by F1 in a couple weeks. So be careful what you're saying. Because
they're paying everybody.
That's what I'm saying.
They bought Barstool. They've had Barstool to be their mouthpiece to go and say, they don't even live here. And this Barstool guy's going, do you know how great the F1 is? It's amazing in Vegas. Look at this thing. It looks like a video game. I'm like, dude, you don't live here. Like, if you don't live here, don't tell me how great this thing is. This thing is great for a night. I'll give it to you. It's everything else around it that sucks.
But see, I mean, in fairness, like, you don't live in Boston anymore, but you come on here and talk about how great the Celtics are and how great the Patriots used to be.
Do I inconvenience every other person to have a one-time conversation about one team in one night?
I mean, some might argue that you do, but I don't think so.
The event is fine. I don't have a problem with the event. It's everything else that has to change for the event to happen.
Wait till it's that repaving and all that other stuff starts. I
think
they've been doing it. It's already done. But they got to do it so it's perfect because those cars go fast.
Right.
They got to do the roads.
Remember last year, the whole manhole cover thing that popped up and blew out the car?
That can't happen again.
And that can't happen again.
That can't happen again. We could ask Addison about that, but that cannot happen again. But I know I've been trying to really do a lot of the meetings on the outskirts.
Yeah.
After G2E, I'm good. Like, I got enough strip during G2E.
I hadn't been down in a while. I hadn't been down to the strip in a long time. And I was just like, what is going on? I think it was down to one lane last night on a Wednesday night. One lane. I was like, oh, this is great. One lane. This is perfect. Great idea. Drop it down to one lane on a Wednesday. Sure. All these people are in town. This is a beautiful idea.
Good idea.
There's a huge teacher convention here in town right now.
Yep.
Beautiful. Great idea. Yeah. Shut it down.
Big game on Friday night.
Game on Friday night. Boys
down there. Yeah.
This is brilliant. Brilliant. All right. Adam Bjorn's going to join us here in a couple of minutes. Look forward to talking to him, coming up with Prime and Prime Sportsbook. Let's talk about what happened last night. I'm going to give some props here to Steve Ballmer. I don't know. Did you watch any of the Clippers game last night?
Yeah.
Because the game was awesome. They lost in overtime to the Sun. But Ballmer may have just changed the entire experience about going to basketball games in the NBA with the Intuit Dome. If you guys on the East Coast missed this thing is unbelievable. One, where Ballmer is right now is a new area called the Wall. It's a student style set of 51 rows for diehard fans only. You cannot wear the opposing team's logo, t-shirts, hats, and sit in the wall. It's $32 a ticket, which is pretty damn cheap for an NBA basketball game.
In LA.
In LA. $32 to come in to be a part of the wall.
Yep.
Could more teams do this? Could more teams say, hey, we want passionate, diehard fans. We want to have a home court advantage, a real home court advantage?
Well, I mean, tickets used to be affordable and fans used to go and make noise. And then they became very corporate in a lot of places and very expensive. And people go just to go have meetings or,
Right.
Kind of the game is secondary instead of being the primary. So I don't know. They did this in Pittsburgh when they moved the building when in the Civic Arena became the console center where the Penguins play now. They had a section that was a student only section. It was $15 to go watch an NHL game.
Wow.
You just show your ID, your student ID, and you got in for $15. So they built a generation of fans that could go to games and then would graduate, get a job, and then still be able to come back and pay for real tickets. I don't see anything wrong with this.
I love
this.
This.
It's a great idea.
So every seat is heated. And
in the whole building, not
the whole
just
building.
in the wall.
No, the whole building. Every seat in the building is heated with a USB port to charge your phone. A 360-degree double-sided jumbotron that if you rolled it out flat, it would be almost an acre in length.
Yeah, that thing's crazy.
It's enormous on this. But here are the interesting things besides the wall. The concessions all have the same menu. There's no difference. Every concession is the same.
So
and there's
is that a good thing?
I love this. There's no your options are very limited, and there are no TVs in the concourses. You cannot watch the game unless you are in your seat.
That's interesting.
It's brilliant. And in the suites, when the game's going on, the TVs in the suites shut off.
Right.
They have an auto switch that says, you're going to watch the game. You suite people, you're going to watch the game on TV in a suite. You're going to be down there watching the game because we're shutting off the TV. When the game action's going on, TV's off. Over 1,160 toilets and urinals, 3 times the average for an NBA arena.
Well, that's
no
a
lines.
good thing.
No lines. He wants everyone in their seat watching the game and being a part of the atmosphere. I think this is brilliant. I think this is, if we can bring back the home court advantage and make it so, hey, you want to go to the game? You're going to the game. You're not going to do other things. Kiss cam and on your phone and everything else.
What's wrong with the kiss cam? That's a great thing in between plays. Come on.
Really? That TV show thing will last about a week? I don't know. Steve Ballmer's got a lot of money. I don't know.
I don't know either. I like the fact that there's enough toilets that you don't have to wait. There's nothing worse than going and waiting in line to go to the bathroom at a sporting event. It's annoying. I've been to so many sporting events that I go to watch the game. This is the way I started going to games. This is the way I go to the games now. Like when I take the kids, I'm like, watch the game. And it would annoy me sometimes when it's like, hey, can you go get this or can you go get that? And I was constantly running. When we finally get settled and just watch the game, I love that.
Is this European? Is it very European? Is that what they do overseas? I don't know.
I don't know, but I know
over there.
that other than the different food choices, I understand that keeping it uniform. So no matter what, there's nothing worse than wanting something that's only served on the opposite side of the arena.
Right.
And it takes you 15 minutes to walk over, 10 minutes to wait in line and get your food, and 15 minutes to walk back.
Right.
And you're like, I just missed the whole first quarter because I wanted this sandwich.
Right.
So, I get it. Look, it looked awesome. I love it. I don't know. You think it? I think it. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'll probably go to a game there this year.
I want to. I want to see it. Yeah, I think. I think the idea, like when they built new college basketball arenas, like Virginia did this when they built their new one, they made it so the student body had access to very good seats close to the court, and they took the corporate types off the court and put them up. Said, hey, you guys can come, but we're going to put you higher up. We don't want you guys to be down by the court because we want our home court advantage. We want our diehard people to have it, our student body, which makes us, we're a school, so we're here for students. We want to make sure that they have the best access to tickets and they can have the most impact on the atmosphere because they're going to show up early. They're going to cheer the whole game. I love this for the NBA. If this starts in the NBA, we start having dedicated diehard fan sections and we start creating real difficult environments. I'm all in on that. That's a great idea.
I like it. I don't know. Jordan One-Star Gorov just came in the chat and said the wall concept with no opposing fans was inspired by BVB. How about that?
The Germany version.
Right? In Germany. Wow.
The
All
Germany
right,
version.
well, I like that already then. That's good if that has anything to do with BVB, but that's cool. I think now will it take when the team's bad? Like
I don't know. It's a really good question because if a team's bad, like I guess to get the tickets, you had to buy a season pass before the year that showed like where you live and like how big of a fan you are. So they vetted you. They're vetting the people in that area for the $32 tickets.
okay.
If they're losing, does that drop off? Do people not want to be a part of that? Do people not really care about being a part of that? And so then tickets become less attractive.
Yeah, I think naturally it does. And I think the uncertainty of, we're going to buy the Celtics tickets. Okay, well, are they all going to play?
Right.
And then they don't. And are you overwhelmed and say, well,
they
the
don't
building
want
was
you-
great. The food was great. And I didn't have to wait in line in the bathroom, but the game stunk.
But I think what they're saying is they don't want you to schedule shop. They want you to go because the Clippers are playing. Who cares who they're playing?
Fair.
The Clippers are playing. So to Ballmer doesn't want fans that are going to go and say, all right, I want to see the Thunder, the Celtics, and the Lakers. He doesn't want those people. He wants, are the Clippers playing? Yes, then I want to be there for the Clippers. So that's why I'm going to go watch a Clipper game, not go watch the opponent. So that's what's made the NBA, it's made the environment in the NBA so sterile, is that, yeah, I'm going there to watch my team, but in reality, I want to see LeBron play with the Lakers, or I want to see SGA play with the Thunder.
It's a big commitment to go to a lot of games. We had season tickets in Pittsburgh growing up. I went to all the games, but that's all I did. Like,
Right.
I went to games and I went to school. Like that. What are you doing tonight? I'm going to the game. I went to every game for years. I went to every game at Penn State. Every single home game while I was there, football game, I went. I bought season tickets for the basketball. The last 2 years I was in school because I was like, I'm just going to go to the games. I love going to the games. I love going to events. I think you're going to create diehard fans again like that, which is good. You should do that because, when I moved to Phoenix, we bought season tickets for the Coyotes and we had a partial plan for the Suns and a partial plan for the Diamondbacks. Suns Jazz on a Tuesday in January? It's not the same. Like,
Harder sell.
But if the building's good, the convenience is good. Is it $70 for parking?
It's LA. It's LA. Well, let's find out. Was there a European influence on this? Let's get to our guy, the one and only Adam Bjorn from Prime, joining us here on BVB. Adam, Matt, and Dave, how are you?
Hey, how you guys doing? It's good to be back.
Thanks for coming on back. We were talking a little bit about what the Clippers are doing. Is there in Australia? Do they try to keep people in their seats? Is there a way of kind of making sure people don't move around? Because here, fans can be a little bit on the fair weather side and not stay in their seats and go do other things. And then the Clippers are trying to stop that from happening.
I've never heard of anything so ridiculous in my life. This is like, it's a prison. They going in there to like that. That's just madness. I've never seen anything like that. Now, it's harder to compare that with Aussie rules or rugby and that. Huge stadiums, big open fields, things like that. This is a little bit more condensed space. But it's kind of, I guess, what they're making it like tennis, where when someone's ready to serve, they go hold.
Yep.
Someone in golf teeing off, like don't move. Like, come on now.
Well, the good thing is that there's chargers in every seat, so people could be on their phones and probably betting in game. I couldn't wait to talk to you today about the in-game wagering. And I heard you talking about it with JBJ, who's also known as Joe Brennan. about how
Yep.
in-game wagering is really starting to plateau. You're seeing it on your end, aren't you?
Yeah. So for years, and an add-on that I was about to bring up with that, it actually seems they're trying to block the Wi-Fi and stuff within these stadiums, within the data. So, are they making a decision to make it almost impossible to bet in game? Yet they're selling as if Adam Silver sold this as, you go into the game, you buy a ticket for $50, you want to bet $20. That was his whole pre-PASPA kind of speech.
Right.
Now I was at the US Open trying to, follow some information and do some things. And the data was almost impossible to get. The Wi-Fi wouldn't work when you're in certain courts. So what's their ultimate goal at this?
I don't know.
Very good question, because I can tell you this. We've been at games, Matt and I both. It's very difficult to get bets in. Like, we were at conference tournament games like Big Sky. And maybe there were, I don't know,
6 people,
36 people in the building and we would see the basket go in before a number might move and things like that. And we almost found it impossible to get a bet in at the game.
So the reason they're doing this is so the data companies can protect their data and the integrity of court siding, which is a global phenomenon the last 20 years, especially in tennis, where people would go to tennis matches. The data was moving slow, and on key points like break points or to win a set, people were betting. And I'd seen devices where they were stitching them into their hoodie pockets, and they could, like, by touch, know exactly where to send the data and how to send the data. Now, I know this goes into, I've seen MLS happen from Mexican players into Dallas stadiums when there's been MLS games there. We've got people trying to beat the feeds of TV, because obviously in the US particularly, your TV feeds are so far behind. They're the most latent TV feeds on the planet.
Really?
So if I'm looking at UFC or boxing, I'm looking for a Russian feed or a Scandinavian feed that has next to no latency on those aspects as well. And to go back to the original thing is, 10 years ago, we were seeing that tennis, basketball were heading at 90% live betting versus pregame, which for American-facing books for a long time, that was just unheard of. It was 100% pregame. Live didn't really exist to 10 years ago. And then with Prime, again, we're full of assassins. We've got all the arbors, all the pros, the originators, all that kind of stuff. But looking at the numbers last week, we sort of pulled it out. And it was from a conversation at G2E where I'd met one of the books in town, and they were sort of saying, their retail's still 60%, 40%. Retail in the rest of the world, like BetCris in Latin America, that's a cash culture, retail's less than 1.5% volume. So everyone's moved online. So Nevada's sort of still a long way behind on that front. Then on the live pregame, there's still a lot of books in Nevada that just live isn't really a thing.
It's an afterthought.
Right. There's guys punching in these numbers, and they were sort of saying, well, if your product come to Nevada, what would the difference be? And it's found money. Whatever you're doing pregame now won't change, but you'll double your volume potentially with the live business. And that was, as I dug into those numbers, was NFL is now over 50% live, which, again, unheard of. The basketball, and that's a combination of some preseason and international stuff, we're 90% live betting on basketball the last sort of 6 weeks as I started pulling these numbers. Tennis is heading the same direction. So all that context of where it's been at the global level for 10, 15 years is starting to infiltrate now, I think, into that US market. And as I said, we don't have a lot of rec players, and generally it's the rec players that are more live driven than the pros. But we're starting to see that now develop and build out, where the live is starting to catch up, having the ability to do live parlays, which again is generally a new thing in recent times. And then with the cash outs and those other aspects where you can get into a game and get out of a game, you don't have to watch full games anymore. Right. We'd seen it for, again, 10, 15 years on a tennis match. You didn't have to watch a full tennis match. People would come in for 3 or 4 games, get in, have some bets, get out, and go back to what they're doing. So this is sort of where the micro betting and the casinification of sports betting that they're trying to infiltrate and push in there. Whereas I think it's sort of still a bit closer to the full game versus these, the next pitch and that, because again, the latency, the court siding, and all those things are kind of problems.
Is that good for the sports, Adam? Like, I know it's good for the business and for guys in the business and stuff and the books. But I mean, is that turning fans into not really fans? They're just using the game for bets and in and out. Like, why wouldn't you want to? When you tell someone over 40 that you don't care who wins the match. Like, I just came in and watched a couple games in the tennis match and I'm out. I don't care who wins. But it was a great match. I don't care. Like, is that a good thing?
So I think there's two sides of it. One, you're bringing in potential people that don't generally watch a sport, but they can come in for 10 or 20 minutes and participate in the sport from that aspect of it. So you're bringing that. But then on the other side of it, the people that used to watch every game, every pitch, every dribble, every basketball, every pass, they don't need to anymore. And I think even for NBA is generally, you just watch the last 4 or 5 minutes anyway, because the rest of the games just become so irrelevant that generally the point spread and the result of the game on majority of them sort of come down to that last 4 or 5 minutes, the fouling, the back and forth and things like that. So I think the leagues, and this is where with official data and everything that they're trying to do, almost should just give that data away for people to be able to build all kinds of tools around their sport, because they're all losing people, the amount of people watching sports these days. You've got your TikToks and all these other things that are capturing the younger person.
Right.
So they've really got to find ways to compete with all the other entertainment, and going to a basketball game where you drive, parking. I know LA's not that great for public transport. Parking, cost, tickets, take a few family members, a kid or whatnot, cost. Now you're told you can't leave your seat. Like, now it's feeling like a, odd experience. Then the cost of food at these places are just madness. So what are they really doing to try and build their viewership, build their attendance, those kind of aspects to it as well? So sports betting is just such a micro piece of the professional leagues ecosystems these days. They just shouldn't care about the data. They should be just giving the data away for letting companies build products around their sports, and then they can worry about the 9-figure, 10-figure TV deals. They can do all these other kind of things that are the needle movers in the whole thing, instead of trying to pick up pennies off the ground with their data and some of these other things that genuine people and fans could build. It's like the open AI versus the closed ones, the open AI versus Meta with open source codes and that. Like, give it to the people. Just do it a little differently is how I'm seeing it anyway. Right. And that evolves into this live versus pregame, which is the future anyway.
Adam, you made a comment that I'm kind of curious about, because we know the European sports betting ecosystem's well more advanced and developed than Americans, than the American version. We'll get there eventually. But do you think people know that the latency overseas in Scandinavia, Russia, wherever, that the lag in America is dramatically less than what it is elsewhere? Because I think people just feel like, well, that's technology. So to get a game, get a signal to go up, it takes a couple of seconds, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
If it's faster overseas and the American sports fan hears that, isn't that going to make them a little bit questioning what's going on with our own broadcasting networks?
Well, it's 100%. I mean, it all goes back to the Janet Jackson effect of adding delay in case something crazy happens on TV. And they've put that into it. But where you really get it in the sports betting world is, watching the Masters. Someone lines up for a putt and you're watching the live odds, and suddenly there's a dramatic change, and, someone Rahm sinks a 20-footer, but yet his odds changed 15 seconds ago. Well, now the integrity of the sports are going, well, the bookies know the result kind of thing. Like, what's going on here? So, and we're so far from the picture and the data ultimately living together, because to do that right now, it's so expensive. So this micro betting phenomenon is kind of a bit of crap, because ultimately to get that together, you have to have the trust and the integrity of the product. And when you're seeing, you've bet and you're getting a result before you're seeing it on TV, that brings a question from the consumer of, I'm getting screwed here, or something like that.
Right. Well, I mean, you're talking about making a putt. Sometimes they haven't even addressed the ball to make the putt, and the odds change. And you're like, I do it with the kids. I'm like, I bet he makes this putt.
Yeah.
They're like, well, oh, really? Yeah, I think he's going to miss. Okay, I'll bet you, and joke with them to just try to teach them, like, you're watching something that's actually way behind.
Yeah.
That I know isn't good for the sport. I wanted to ask you about this, Adam. There are books that are being told by the leagues about prop bets that they cannot offer anymore. I have to ask you, because you said all the right things. You've said all the things that I've been saying. What the hell is going on? If the books are going to be dictated to not only what to offer, but how to offer prop bets, what the hell are we doing? Isn't it better? You put it out there, and I commented on your Twitter. Just don't offer it at all is better, right?
Yeah, the madness of, we've seen for a long time, again, the European culture that's brought into the US now, with all of the Betfreds, a lot of the ones that have come and gone. But again, FanDuel isn't the FanDuel that the Americans know it as. It's the company behind it that runs the Paddy Powers and all those kind of things.
Right, Slaughter, yeah.
Where they've just offered that one side of a market, which, any of us that have been in this business long enough just knows that you generally feel like you're getting screwed when there's only one side of a market to put up. Now, when the NBA come out and says you can't have unders on some of these markets, well, first of all, that any of these markets that are put up are going to be 2 to 3 points higher than what they should be, just to drive business in one way of that nature. But make a stance. Just say don't offer it. If someone's on a 2-way contract or a 10-day or whatever like that, there is so much stuff to bet on these days. You don't need to have these really small underlying things that majority of the rec player isn't going to be looking at that stuff. Yeah, they might be looking for that 20-second leg to add to their same game parlay or something like that. But generally, don't offer it. The one thing that I've experienced with BetChris and what they were doing in LATAM and as an NFL partner was they were given a list of things not to offer. Do not offer who gets the first penalty. Do not offer who does the first challenge and all those kind of things. That's a straightforward, here's a guideline. We'd like you as our betting partner not to offer these things because they're ref enticed, they're easier to fix or manipulate. Like, the NBA should be doing that. If there is a player on a 2-way 10-day contract, please do not offer these at all. Not just take away the unders because we're going to protect ourselves and screw the player. Just do not offer it. It's pretty simple.
Well, you get caught in a conundrum, although, and that's good. You're absolutely right. That's called being a partner. That's working together. But what do you do in a situation like yesterday when the Sixers are playing the Bucks and it's the first game of the season? Why wouldn't the star player be playing? You put up a number, it's Sixers minus 2.5. You got a total. And then they go, oh, by the way, he's not playing. PG got hurt in preseason. That you can't control. The line flips. It's Bucks minus 3.5 or 4 at close. The Bucks win by like 100. And the NBA announces they're doing an investigation into the Sixers and him not playing. You can't make it up.
No, and there's a lot of stuff that you have no control over. And I remember, again, I'm always dating myself by bringing up these things when, you used to have Don Best pop up that Kobe's out of a game.
Right.
And then the line would move and the Lakers would win by 30. That's just part of sports betting, information gathering. I mean, that was
not rigged. Adam, it's not rigged. Can you please tell all of our listeners, people watching all over the world, country, sports are not rigged. They're not.
99.9% of sports are not rigged.
Fair. Okay, that's fine. Fair. That's fine.
Yeah, but no, generally all these things are above board. We're working with, especially today. Now, go back 20 years ago and we were getting information,
Yep.
whether I was a bettor or a bookie, there was information that I was using against the opposite. You know, if I was a
Yes.
bookie getting information, putting up a little bit of a number and getting people to buy into it, or if I was a bettor betting into bookies, yeah, I was jamming that in as hard as I could when I was getting good information and good intel to sort of get that advantage. But in today's world, it's milliseconds of information being private to public in, again, 99% of the circumstances. There's obviously, you know, somebody's friend or brother or wife or whatever might know there's an injury of, you know, a player or whatnot, and it could shape something sort of like last night. But the rest of the team, and this is why team versus individual sports, the rest of the team are trying their ass off. Maybe they just weren't good enough without the key player and shit happens.
Right.
And it's the first game of the year. Like NBA, MLB, and ice hockey, they're grinds. Like from players, let alone bettors and bookies, shit happens. It's random. You get these random events throughout the season. And then for the NBA to kind of come out like that just shows that they have no clue how this all works, no clue how this all operates. Yet they're meant to have those relationships with US integrity and be able to see these movements and information beforehand. And if they want to get serious about it, do like the NFL's done for decade plus. Have players as questionable, have players where there's a lot better structure of what these injury things are going throughout the season, rather than just waking up in the morning or as we're driving the bus to the stadium and saying, all right, you're going to sit tonight.
Right.
Those are the sort of challenges that I think some of these leagues are out of touch or don't understand the impact.
Right. Adam, yesterday we were having a conversation, and I kind of want to get your take as a gambler, as a bookmaker, but also as a gambler, about the argument between money line wagering and laying points. Do you have one feeling or another? Would you rather take money line at a higher juice at a 160, 170 than lay like tonight? We got the Vikings who are 2.5 point favorites. You can take them on the money line for minus 140, minus 150. Would you prefer to take the cheaper price and lay the points, or would you prefer to take money line if you're like the Vikings tonight?
So this is, again, dependent on what your charts look like, money line versus spreads in that sense. I've always had a rule that I generally don't back anything shorter than minus 150. I'm not a big money line favorite person. If I really love something that's minus 150, minus 200, I'll look for a friend to parlay it up and do a, 2-team straight money line. Usually I always end up losing the one that I went out to find to beat a friend.
Always. The dance partner can't dance.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Put that together. So I'm usually laying the points in that. NFL is a little bit trickier because you got your key points and, certain aspects to that. But I'll lay the points in that situation or buy it down. If it's at 3, buy it to 2.5, or if it's 2.5 and I want to go to 1.5 because of 2. It all comes down to value of what those charts are. One of the big things that, again, dating myself 20 years ago, whatnot, was often the underdog money line was way more value than the underdog spread. So there's sometimes where if I'm really diving into a money line for an underdog, I might cover myself with the plus points again, depending if it's a 5-1 dog and a higher number and things like that, and cover my base or half my base and things like that. I don't do that on favorites, but I'm also a horse background better where I say my lifetime strike rate's probably 30% and I'm a successful better. I'm not having to chase 55% in the way that I bet on spreads and things like that. So that's another dynamic of what kind of better you are. And ultimately it's where you felt the pain. I've felt pain laying 3-1 shots or felt pain on certain things. So, you steer away from those things. I'd rather hit 50% backing plus 150 every day of the week, knowing that that's all I need to hit is, 48, 45% and things like that. So, in that scenario, I'm more than likely laying the points unless it's, again, that 3.5, 4, and the bookies got it wrong and they're priced at minus 150 when it should be minus 180. Or even if something the way they've priced it minus 200 and I think it should be minus 320. There is scenarios for that, but yeah, it's hard to tip into that shorter price.
Joe said to mention that you've been kind of hot a little bit in the NFL. Is this true? Are you seeing the board as good as bettors are seeing the board the last couple of weeks, Adam? Because people are opening up pick services, LLCs. Everybody's got a model. It's unbelievable. Last couple of weeks in the NFL, after the first month was not good for bettors and really
Yep.
good for the books, it flipped pretty quick. How you been seeing the NFL board?
So oddly enough, on a Saturday evening, I'd been doing a thing with Scott at Vegas Horse Bulls with the Circa contest, where we were going through his proxy numbers versus the Circa contest, and we were doing that like at 4:01 p.m. Pacific, 1 minute after all the Circa stuff closed, and kind of got into that. The funny comment that you just made, am I seeing it better than the bettors? Well, I'm actually seeing what the bettors are betting and then highlighting the other side as what the bookie needs. So 3 weeks ago, we started with the Jets Broncos and saying, the game of the week was the Broncos. They had to cover with going with them on the money line, and they win the game. So, we're thinking great, because the other side was so loaded. There was so much money on the Jets. And then we went into the next week, and I believe it was a Jets game again, and we were against the Jets again. And I mean, the Jets is kind of an easy team to be against.
Thank you.
We've been in this business long enough.
Thank you.
Going against the Jets doesn't feel so scary. And it was their London game. So again, they were a favorite. We'd had a lot of money on it, and said, all right, we're against the Jets again. 2 weeks in a row. It's the Jets. You joke about it, whatnot.
How about this week?
Yeah. So then last week,
3 weeks. 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, the week before that, it was the Chicago Jaguars game again in London. So it was like second game in London.
Right.
All the money was from the Jags. They'd gone from +2 to pick 'em or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So we were like, all right, Chicago's the bet of the week. And that was like the least sweating of any game I think I've ever had to. Yeah.
Easy.
So at that point, we were 3-0, 3 weeks in a row, big game of the week. We had cleared it. And then last week, we sort of had a bunch of little ones in that. And it was kind of more of saying, you're running hot. There's no standout game this week. You don't have to bet every week. So we kind of took the week off, didn't push anything. We did.
You didn't go against the Jets with the Steelers?
We did highlight the Sunday night game as one of the 3 games that was there for the week to sort of go after. And then that, fell the right way. So really, it's Saturday night. You can generally tell what the house is going to need come Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Not that much changes, even if you get some rec money in. But most of the stuff we're seeing is wise. It's early. It's structured. We're not going to change that much. So, yeah, we've kind of been joking about, the number one tout in America, releasing these best teams of the week on a Saturday night, undefeated so far. So, yeah, it's been a bit of fun because, to me, the American tout system is the funniest thing on the planet when it comes to sports betting. I mean, I remember when I first moved over here, 25 years ago, and they'd be like, and you'd meet some of them and they were like selling 50% on one side and then they'd pick the other side. They'd, take those winners and then they'd split them again. And
Formula room.
Yeah. So it was always fun watching, the shows and that they did with, there was a few movies turned into that and stuff.
Adam, that's how we're all going to end up.
No,
all the retired bookies are going to end up. We're going to end up doing that. We're going to just sit there, so stay ready. I mean, I hope it's years away.
Just yell at the screen.
Yeah, we're just going to be like, I remember, and we're going to date ourselves, and you're going to have this fancy accent. I'll be wearing hats still with a, cane. Who knows? I got to ask you, last one for me on the way out. You mentioned horses. We're going to the Breeders' Cup on Friday next week. We're doing a live show from the Breeders' Cup. What should we be looking for? Because I am not a horse guy, despite contrary to public reports. Matt is not a horse guy. I love Del Mar. I've been there a couple times to take the kids and spend a day at the track. But give us a little. Have you ever, 1, been to the Breeders' Cup? And 2, what should we be looking for on the first day of the 2 on Friday?
Okay, so when are you doing your live show? On Thursday from there or on Friday?
On Friday from there.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll kick Joe off again next Thursday, and I'll bring some stuff for the breeders on the Thursday show that you're doing, and
Let's
we can
go.
roll in. So it was only yesterday I decided not to go to Del Mar next week because we've got some other things that I need to go deal with first. But I have been to one Breeders' Cup. It was at Del Mar, one of the best race courses in the world that I've ever been to. I did go there and I played in the BC Challenge. You know, I put up my 10K and played in the tipping contest. I plan to play it next week from online Twin Spires or something like that. And I'm also thinking of live streaming it Thursday and Friday while I'm participating in that, putting up numbers, betting, and everything like that. So next Thursday, we'll bring some Breeders' Cup.
Let's go.
Roll out a few tips. I'll put out some odds with you guys on here, and then you can ask any questions you need to on any specific races or anything like that, and give your viewers something different.
Do you find more value on either day? Is Friday a more rich environment, or is Saturday better because of the classic and the more liquidity in the market on Saturday?
So now that it's kind of changed structure with the young horses on the Friday, there is some opportunities there. I had Fierceness last year in the juvenile. Had a nice double actually on the Friday, 16-1 into 4-1 double. Can't think what the second horse was. It didn't matter once Fierceness had won me so much in the juvenile.
Right.
But it's the lesser rate. I'm not getting too heavy in the classic, in some of those big races. And then it's sort of identifying what the weather's like for the Europeans versus the Americans, and then the turf and a few things like that. So definitely some opportunities on the Friday with the younger horses. It can be a little bit more random, a little greener, some of them. And then Saturday, those early races, the sprint, some of those things that are sort of, I guess it's like a 10, 11 card race.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 or 7 is usually where you can sort of find some value. But the great thing about the Breeders' Cup is bet whatever you think you should bet, because the payouts are so big, even when favorites win, the exactas or the trifectas. The pools are so big, you're not necessarily needing to chase the value where you're adding, a lot of underlying horses. You can really target the top few and they still get really good payouts. But it's like anything. It's going in with understanding what you think the price should be, and then playing into where the value is real time as they're, leading up to the gate, and then just, riding at home. Horse racing, I mean, it's the best gambling thing for me when it comes to
I can't
racing.
wait. I can't wait. We can't wait for Thursday next week. Adam, thank you for the time. Awesome stuff today. Can't wait for next week. We'll break down the Breeders' Cup with you coming up next week. Thank you for being here.
All right, great. Cheers, guys.
Adam Bjorn from Prime on a prime time Thursday here on BVB. I can't wait for next week. That's going to be awesome. You can break this stuff down for us. This is great.
We're going to have to send him a text. And I mean, if plans change, come see us and hang out. I'd love to hang out at a track. When you hang out at a track with a horse guy, like a real horse guy,
you see some stuff.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it is so much, one, fun, but two, they're just looking at things way differently than someone who's just kind of a recreational guy or really just enjoying the scene. Like the first time I went to Del Mar is like the first time you go to a really nice golf course. And you like admiring the scenery and the pictures.
Are we really not dressing up? Is this true that you're not going to dress up for this? Is this true?
Yeah, I don't know yet what I'm wearing. It will all depend on, I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll go get the suit dry cleaned, but like, I don't want to, you want to wear a suit on a plane and suit home? I'm going to wear a suit.
Just carry it.
I ain't carrying nothing.
I
ain't carrying nothing. I'm carrying the bag with the mics and everything else, the wires that I got to bring. I got the road bag. That's it.
I don't know. I may need to pull out a hat, a little. I already have the blue jacket, so I can do the blue jacket. I can do a bright pink shirt. I can do the little white pants action. I may need to go down this road. I may be doing this.
We should go as Beavis and Butthead or something. I don't know, like something like that.
Not sticking out like that. Let's go and at least respect the people who are bringing us over there. Let's give them some, they're the ones who are bringing us over there.
We'll see. All right. Well, I don't know yet, but either way, it's one of those things like we're going to be on during some of the races.
Yeah.
So I hope we're close to a window where we can run up and put some plays in.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll set up and then I'll go bet. That's what I'm planning on doing. We'll be set up and then I'm going to take Adam's plays. I know nothing. I'm going to trail Adam blindly. Whenever Adam tells me to bet, I'm going to go bet. That's what I'm going to bet on Friday.
So now we're going to have to line up some guests when stuff gets announced and actual fields get announced, and we'll get as many horse guys as we can next week, and we'll get different opinions, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I mean, it's going to be hard to go to, like, whatever that track was that was back east where you grew up, that track near the Patriots Stadium. What's it called?
Rockingham Park?
I don't know. There's a lot of dumps
or Suffolk Downs.
Suffolk Downs.
Okay, that's
Suffolk
gone.
Downs.
Yeah. They're all gone.
Right. Okay,
all the New England horse tracks are gone. There's nothing left.
So it's a little different after you start
left
at Del Mar. Like going to
the Masters.
blankety blank is going to be tough.
Masters.
Yeah, right. You're essentially starting at Augusta, and then you're going to go watch like the Hartford Open.
Yeah,
like it's nice. Fine. It's courses. Okay,
but I'm down with that. I mean, that works for me. I mean, in terms of how we'll do it and the way we'll do it, I'm down with. Look, I think what's going to be the most entertaining about all of this is that you and I, or for me, I haven't seen a major race like this. Like, I haven't seen a major event like this. So getting a chance to watch it in person and then broadcast from it and talk to the jockeys and talk to the owners. Like, we're going to be joined by people that if you're in the horse world, you would be like, whoa, you guys got so-and-so. And we're going to be like, who are you? Hi, nice to meet you.
We're going to do some prep work, so hopefully,
of course, but it's still not going to be anywhere near. Like, I've done this before, where I've gone and done live shows, and people are like, "Oh, you talked to so and so," and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." Like, I don't know who these people are, but that's awesome. So, I mean, jockeys are tiny. I love talking to them about how they get ready and the way that they operate their lives. It's insanity stuff when it comes to being able to make weight. And like, wrestlers are one thing, but like, jockeys are a whole different level about how these guys starve themselves constantly to be able to make weight. To be
golf at a course in San Diego when I was out there with a group of jockeys ahead of us.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. I mean, they played golf in the morning and then they went to the Del Mar and raced. Like, it was weird. But it was a Monday or Tuesday, so they weren't racing.
Right.
And it was different. They were having a blast. I could tell you that. They were driving those carts around all over the place. They were having fun, but yeah, it was fun.
How long were their drives? Like 150 yards? Like, the guys are tiny.
I mean, try not to judge based on size and stuff, but yeah, it was different. It was very, very different. I don't know how to describe it, but Del Mar is fun. Dubsy's already reached out. Dubsy's doing a live broadcast Friday morning.
Yeah.
And he said, well, if you guys are going to be there, I'll try to be there. And
let's go.
We got, we talked to Randy at the Super Bowl, and then I turn on, or he was on with us Derby week.
Yep.
And you turn it on the broadcast on Saturday in front of 150,000 people at Churchill. And I'm like, hey, that guy was on the show.
Yep.
And I had to prove it to the kids. They're like, you don't know that guy. I'm like, no, we do know that guy. He was on the show.
Yeah, we're going to have him on again. And next week, we'll have a couple of interviews leading up to it next week, which will be a lot of fun coming up for that. By the way, tomorrow is Nevada Day. For those of you who don't know what Nevada Day is.
Kids are off school.
Kids are off school tomorrow. So in Massachusetts, we have Patriots Day, which nobody else besides Massachusetts celebrates. Tomorrow's Nevada Day. So you have a lot of day. I mean, the Golden Knights play during the day tomorrow.
Yep.
We have a Golden Knights game. Then we have the UNLV game tomorrow. On Saturday, we have a Golden Knights game. They play back-to-back against San Jose. Friday against Ottawa, Saturday against the Sharks. And then we've got the Chiefs in town against the Raiders on Sunday.
There's a lot going on this weekend.
A lot going on this weekend. Jessica's not going to the game on Sunday?
No, she wants to know if we could go out to the hotel and see if we can catch him coming back from practice or something. And
oh my, she's gone full-blown groupie.
I was like, wait a second.
She wants to go to the hotel?
Yeah, I
should stalk Travis that way?
just to say hello and take a picture. I'm like, I got a picture, me and him last year at the Super Bowl. Remember? Here. She's like, yeah, but I don't want you in the picture. I just want me and him in the picture. I'm like, this is how we work. This is tough. It's a tough crowd. Tough crowd.
Eddie, we've had Eddie on the show before, haven't we?
We have not.
I've talked to him.
We had Jonesy on. We had Keith Jones on.
I've talked to Eddie a couple times before. I was in Des Moines. He used to come on my show in Des Moines all the time.
Yeah.
For Eddie to come on Chicago, but horse racing guys.
Right.
Who NBC have the Breeders' Cup? Is that who broadcasted it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So Friday next week, live show from Del Mar in San Diego, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific, a little bit of a later start time than usual because we'll be live on site. I can't wait to see where we're going to be. This is going to be neat. I mean, we're going to be set up in a really cool way. So in a cool spot. So I'm really excited to get out there. And
I hope I'm going to put us out with the horses out there.
That's fine. Put me in a stall for all I care. I don't care. I told him just give me a hardwire internet connection and a power source, and we're good. We can go from anywhere. Go for anywhere. We're good. Like I need tables, 3 chairs, 1 table. I got everything else. We're all setting everything else.
3 chairs, 1 table. We'll set everything up. Let's go.
We're flying in, flying out, same day. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't worry. If you guys are a proxy service member, we're back on Friday night. We're plenty of time to be able to enter into everything we need to enter into for that. So you mentioned it with Adam a little bit, but are the Sixers going to get in trouble for resting Embiid? Bucks blasted the Sixers last night in their home opener. Game was never in doubt.
I think they got to just, I don't want to say streamline or standardize the process of, you can't control whether a guy's hurt or not. And you can't control whether a guy, well, whatever.
He's not. The investigation's happening because they're going to keep him out until they want to hold him for the playoffs. They'd rather have him not play at all year. Embiid's not going to play much at all. That's the investigation. That is he healthy? Well, yeah, we're not playing him. Why? We want him healthy for the playoffs. And the league's saying, no, you're not. You're not doing that.
Again, without having my medical degree or knowing exactly what's going on, I don't know.
If he was hurt, Dave, there would be no investigation. There'd be no investigation.
How hurt is he?
He can play. He can play.
Yeah, but if he can't play at 100%, can he play?
The NBA is going to have to go and look at the medicals. I think you're going to see him play sooner rather than later because I don't think the Sixers want to get into this. I don't think the Sixers want to have the Eastern Conference. Look, Maxey can take them to a playoff berth. He's good enough. Maxey and Lowry together can take the Sixers to a playoff berth in the Eastern Conference. 7-8 seed. Maybe play in tournament. But you're going to get
what you want?
With a healthy Embiid, you do. You can't get past the second round. He can't stay healthy. I mean, he is Chris. Why am I blanking on the pitcher for the Red Sox now with the
Sale?
Yeah, he's Chris Sale. He's great in the regular season. He's great for the first 3 months. And then he runs out of gas, gets to the playoffs, and he's got nothing left. He's hurt.
I think the process has to be, I mean, there's an injury report that comes out every Friday. Money moves on it. Money moves ahead of it because the guy may appear on it, whether he appears probable or questionable, will move money. Questionable to, what's the 25% range? He's either out, he's questionable, probable, doubtful. There's doubtful. Doubtful's the 25%.
Yeah.
That's when I moved to back to the US and came out to Vegas, we had this thing sent to us by the NFL. That's 25%. It's doubtful, 50% questionable, 75% probable, and he's playing or not, in or out.
Right.
So I was like, okay. But how many times? I mean, Belichick by the end made a farce of that.
Yep.
At least everybody was doing the same thing. I think that's what the NBA investigation, the result of it is going to be. You have to do this by this time. And you have to say this. I don't know if they're going to say to a guy or a team, listen, if he's healthy, he has to play. I don't know.
You're paid to play.
Well, that's a whole nother story. You're right.
You're paid to play the sport. That's your job. Your job, the expectation from a fan watching or paying a ticket to go to a game or to watch a game on TV, the expectation is the guy who's healthy to play is going to play. It's his job. Like, it's just, and the NBA's got a big problem with that, about players saying, hey, I want to play in June. I don't want to play in October. But wait.
But you said he got a splinter. Is a splinter enough to keep you out of a game, Butchie?
I
don't know.
So we'll see how the NBA handles that. The Capitals are 5-1. It's their best start since 2015. They won 6-3 last night over Philadelphia. You're going to be talking about the Capitals in the Eastern Conference this year?
So they were the early game on the Frenzy Day,
Yep.
and I thought the Flyers were live at home, watched the first 2 periods of that game intently and went, wow, Capitals can skate. Like, they're pretty fast. And so having watched so much hockey and played and all, so you just look for certain things. I'm like, geez, Capitals are going to win again tomorrow. They're playing. So, came on here and asked you better to book it. I said, Caps are going to win. They're going to be better than people think. And again, that's fully healthy. And it's the first couple weeks of the season.
Right.
JC from KC has found his hockey team now. Go Caps, go. Go Caps, go.
Yep.
That's fine. The Flyers really kind of do stink, JPC the fourth. Like, just right now, I think the Flyers' expectations were higher, and I think that they are going to be better. They're not right now, and they're already starting with the torts and the things. And Philly, man, you people are just like, I grew up in the same state, but it's a whole nother world on that eastern half of the state. You people, again, you get so mad so quick and everything's the worst and blah, 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 blah. Calm down. It's 5 games into the season. You heard Adam. It's a long season. Calm down.
All right, tonight, the Vikings are now down to 2.5 at Circa against the Rams tonight. Why is everyone all in on Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp coming back, that the Rams are going to beat the Vikings?
I don't even want to say it, but nobody believes in Minnesota.
They
Sorry,
don't. They're
D-Stop.
5-1 and they don't care.
Sorry, King of Car Seats. Like, and I did it with the Twins and was right. Like, I could just see it with the Twins and said, this is not gonna make the playoffs. Everything is gonna go down. And you guys have built up layers and layers of scar tissue of rooting for your teams. But this betting community is just like, whoo, no way are they going to go on a road in a short week and win the game. Well, I mean, there's some validity to that. No.
The Rams are god awful on defense. They're horrible on defense. What are we doing? I don't understand. I'm looking at all these numbers. I'm like, does Puka play DB? Does Cooper Kupp play linebacker? Okay, you're getting your 2 guys back. This is tremendous. I think it's great for you, but your defense is still awful.
Yeah.
I don't understand the line move at all. To get off a 3, when it got to 3, I was like, okay, that's fine. -3. That makes sense. Vikings -3. 2.5. Whoa. Enough money to move this thing on game day off of 3 to 2.5 coming on the Rams. All the LA people driving over to Circa and dropping money on the Rams.
So I talked to a guy this morning who has been in the business a long, long time, and I nicknamed him something. I just call him Flat Hat.
Okay.
Because he's always wearing a hat. It's always flat, not flat build, like just a flat hat, whatever it is. And he goes, you know what you can tell everybody on your show today? He said, the game's going to land 3.
Perfect.
Vikings are going to win by 3.
By 3. Fair. I think that's true. I agree.
He said, tell everybody. I said, all right, I'm going to go on and say it because I don't really know. Like, I want to like the Vikings. I want to, but I don't know. The NFC North is such a good division. I don't know what we take from it.
So the NFC North is 17-4 outside of competition against each other. There's 2 games that were played against head-to-head like last week with the Vikings and the Lions. It's a +213 scoring differential. All 4 losses outside of NFC North play have come by less than 6 points. All 4 teams in the division have a +40 or greater point differential. There's only 4 other teams in the entire NFL that can boast that. The NFC North has a winning percentage of .773 through 6 weeks. That's the best of any division through 6 weeks in the Super Bowl era.
Wow.
Like, the 4 best teams in football may be in the North. Like,
don't get the Bears people all excited and start putting them with everybody else.
No,
Calm
they're the
down.
4th, but they're there. They're in the conversation. All 4 teams right now. The playoffs began right now. All 4 teams are in the playoffs.
That could happen.
All 4 teams are in the playoffs, right?
I don't think, I mean, as crazy as that is to say out loud, and again, if you're watching the show elsewhere, if you're watching the show here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That's all we ask. But if you're watching the show and you have your own shows or you're going on other shows and you say that the NFC North, because I haven't heard anybody say this, that all 4 teams could make the playoffs. We said it a couple weeks ago when we started to look at things between the Vikings and their good start and the Lions being one of the favorites to win a Super Bowl preseason. And then, oh, by the way, the Packers are pretty damn good. Okay. Well, if the Bears beat all the bad teams on their schedule, guess what? They're going to end up with 9 or 10 wins. So I don't know how they cannibalize each other when they all beat each other and all this other stuff, but there's not even a question that the NFC North is the best division in football. It's not even a question because of the depth of it, and the bottom is one of the better teams, at least in the NFC.
To me, this game is simply, I just didn't overthink it. I've watched the Rams and I've bet on the Ram games. I watched them against the Raiders last week. They're getting Puka back and they're getting Coop back. Oh, okay. I get it that's big to get your 2 good wideouts. They're talking about trading Cooper Kupp. Like he's on the trading block. Like that's a massive distraction for this game going in. And Matthew Stafford's offensive line couldn't block you.
That's a problem. I do have a very good swim move. I did it before it was cool. When I was a little kid, I tried to pretend like I was Deacon Jones. I just tried to, they're like, Dave, you can't hit that guy in the face like that. I'm like, well, Deacon Jones does it. And it worked. So
I just watched these games and I'm like, I don't get the number. I don't get the move. I've been wrong. I'll be wrong tonight. Probably. Just give me the Vikings defense to win the game. I have no idea over, under, prime time. I don't care. Vikings win the game money line. Like this is my first bet using this. We talked about yesterday, which I completely went back and love. If you haven't watch it again, if you haven't seen it, Adam was awesome going through it. And I think that Alex, sorry. I think that there's
Alex yesterday, Adam was awesome today.
Yeah,
like that was really good. I mean, but he gave you the other side of it. He'd rather lay the short favorite number.
Right. Then get into it.
Take the dog money line when it's mispriced.
Yeah.
Which again,
well, it makes sense though, because his point is like, and this is one of the dirty little secrets in the sports betting content space. Your record really doesn't mean anything. It's how much money did you wind up with. You go 2-10 over 12 bets, but the 2 bets you hit are plus 500 dogs. It doesn't matter what happened in those 10 other bets. Like it doesn't matter. So someone's going to say, oh, your record's 2-10. Yeah, I'm up 4 units. Like your record doesn't really matter in the whole, big scheme of things. It doesn't really matter. So like to me, ROI. Yeah. Daniel G, ROI. Right. In the content space, it's all your record. Well, your record doesn't really matter. It depends on what strategy you're taking and what you're going into it. So I like Adam's strategy too of taking dogs to win outright because you only need to win 4 out of 10. Right. You're going to be profitable.
You're going to make money.
Like tonight, to me, like you can take the Rams tonight if you want. They're at home. It's Thursday night. But have you seen, Thursday night home teams have not fared well recently. They've been getting killed on Thursday night at home.
Just because they're a home dog doesn't mean it's the right side. I don't know. Like, and again, it's one of those situations that people will go to the mattresses with this to use a golf. They'll go to the end of the fight, taking the home dog on Thursday, and it's still not right. It hasn't been right for a couple weeks. Taking home dogs has been a disaster for professional sharp bettors, whatever you want to call it, air quotes. Good luck. I mean, you could do it. I think the better game is in college. I really, really do. And Sheppy, PSU Sheppy, I mean, this is a pit hat. Don't take it personal. We'll get to it in a second. But
Syracuse at Pitt tonight. Total is 63. Pitt is undefeated this year off a bye. Under Narduzzi, Pitt is 13-6 against the number and 5-1 ATS at home. Off a bye. Under Narduzzi.
Man, oh man.
This comes down to the quarterback. This all comes down to the quarterback. If the kid plays well, Pitt wins.
Holstein.
Yeah. Holstein plays well. If he doesn't throw picks and throw the ball up for grabs, Syracuse can score, but their defense can be had. I mean, UNLV torched them. Pitt should be able to move the ball.
Dear friend of the show and our Bostonian versus the book news hound, who has changed my life with the Twitter. I can't thank you enough. I want to shake your hand. You don't wear hats. I tried to get you a hat. You don't want hats. I got to get you something. Put you on the Christmas card list. I can guarantee you that, because I don't even have to check my notifications. I mean, that's all I have to check. I don't even have to read nothing. You put me in touch with so many things. He's a Syracuse guy. And he's still saying that the better team won against UNLV. I don't know. I mean, they got the best calls. Like at the end, let's just keep it at that.
It was two groups on one. So yes, you had you had the better side because you had a group of referees on your side. So
yep.
Enjoy that.
Let's ask the people in the chat right now. Give them a poll right now. Pitt -5. Let me just double check. It's get the most current number. I'm just curious what our college football heads think, boys and girls alike. Who's winning this game and covering the spread?
What do you want? 5 or 5.5?
Let's and 5.5. It's pretty much, there's only 1 5 left in the world down south. Well, that's an indicator. 5.5. Pitt -5.5. Syracuse +5.5. A lot of the content space is on the dog. A lot of money may have been on the dog.
Sure.
Butchie says Pitt and under. I'm with you. I think it's an under game.
I would have bet Pitt, but the money line price, like this 5.5, this is my prime example of games I'm no longer betting. Like this was, I stared at this game because I think Pitt does win, but I don't want to do a parlay, and I don't want to bet a total in this game. I think because it's Thursday, I lean towards the under in this game, but I don't know. It's 6-3 is high. It falls right into that category we talked about yesterday, where we're at basically 60%. When you get to 60 or higher, the games are going under consistently. So I do like the under in this game. If I had to pick anything in this game, it would be the under. But laying 5.5, Pitt wins by 4, and I'm pissed off.
Don't be pissed off from this.
Like 24-20 is a good win for Pitt. So like Syracuse plus the points is there, but I also could see Pitt destroy them. I think Pitt could go ahead and beat them 30-10.
See, I don't see that. Pitt's games are so like they just keep teams hanging around, and he's still a freshman, and he makes those decisions that you go, oh boy, I don't know. One of my dear friends back home in Pittsburgh, I've nicknamed him Marty the Mush.
Yep.
And I love Marty to death. He's a Pitt grad, goes to all the games. He's got season tickets for the volleyball team. I think still #1 in the country.
Oh, wow.
He said Pitt wins, ugly game, doesn't cover. That's what he said.
I think it's fair.
Text. So I traded text with him before the show. I'm going to watch this more, at least in the first half. I'm on tonight pregame. So once the game kicks Thursday night football, I can watch both. I need to see this game because I think there's more ramifications, no pun intended, with the Rams playing.
Right.
If Pitt wins, this is big. ACC talk, all this other stuff is real. If they lose, then I ain't got to worry about watching another Pitt game the rest of the season.
Right. I'm with you. I think this is a great 2-screen action. The problem is that Thursday's on Amazon, so you got to go and deal with that crap. It's not really fun. You have 2 different TVs on this, but Pitt money line. I just wish the Pitt money line wasn't so expensive. Like it's just
that's the thing. When it gets over 4, that's when you start to see the numbers start to get played.
It's $2.10. It's over $2.
You can find it at $2 if you have other accounts. It might be as low as $2, but it could be as high as $2.20.
Yeah, it's $2.15 at Circa.
Right. That's what I mean. They ain't going to let you walk in there and lay that.
No. And so like you could get into it. Like, people say, well, why don't you tease that? I go, I don't want to tease college. I don't want to get involved in that. So like, I'm not teasing college football. So, okay. So money line it, or money line parlay it rather. I don't want a money line parlay. Like take the Vikings and take Pittsburgh. You like them both. Go ahead and parlay them together. Sure. You can do that, but I don't like that. I mean, I don't like, to me, like I'll bite the bullet and lay 180 on a money line price, but that's it. Like that's as high as I can't really stomach going much more than that. I got 150 on the Vikings last night. So,
okay. Jim Duwager came in and said, I still can't figure out how the Cuse lost to Stanford. That's a good question.
Stanford's good.
Are
That's
they?
why. Yes. They have a great wide receiver. They have a decent quarterback. Yes. Stanford's got some weapons. They can beat you if you don't take them seriously, and Syracuse didn't take them seriously.
I just saw Mikey Awesome's super chat. Did you see that?
Well,
I
yeah,
have
okay.
Mikey Awesome's
Okay.
hat here.
Let's go right to it. Georgia Southern at ODU.
Look at
I bet
this.
this game. This isn't better to book it.
ODU?
Yep.
ODU Fun
Yeah.
Belt game. I saw that in the rundown. I started laughing. The Fun Belt. Positive vibes to all, Mikey. Positive vibes to you
It's
and
a pick 'em
ODU.
now. It was one last night. Now it's a pick 'em. Defense versus offense.
What
At
do you make
home,
of that? Because I mean, like Kennesaw State won yesterday.
yep. At home on a Thursday, short week. Give me the defense all day long. Give me the team that plays defense at home. Georgia Southern's got an offense. They can score, but their defense is a little bit questionable. ODU's got one of the best defenses, statistically speaking. In the conference, they have a really good, might be the best defense in the Fun Belt.
No, you just made
First-
your case.
First place is on the line tonight in the division for the Sun Belt. So this is a big game for these two schools. Georgia Southern's 3-0, 2-1 ODU. ODU's played they played South Carolina tough. They played East Carolina tough. They played Vatech tough. I mean, they got some pieces, and Mikey, I've never had it. It's never been part of Better to Book It. Your team is part of Better to Book It for the first time in the 3-year history of this show. Old Dominion is part of this of Better to Book It.
This is the first one.
Yeah, I've never had it before.
Jeez.
I'm psyched for it. I think it's gonna be super fun tonight. So, if you're looking for a college game on top of it, there's 3 good games tonight for football.
I thought you were going to have the other screen on the Bruins and the Stars.
Well, yeah, I got that for sure. But Celtics playing too, so I got a lot going on tonight. I got a lot going on tonight. A lot of things. I told Amanda this morning. I was like, we got a lot of stuff going on tonight. You know that, right?
Right.
She's like, what do you mean? I go, we got to go get dinner at like 5 because I got to get back. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We got a big night tomorrow night. We got a big night on Saturday night. We got a lot of things going on. So like we got a lot of games to watch tonight. We got to set up separate TVs. We got to go it's a big night tonight.
She's staying a week. How long is she staying?
Till Saturday night. She's on a flight back on Saturday night. She's on a flight back. So we're going to a Halloween thing at the art museum on Saturday night after we do the proxy stuff, and then she's on a plane back at like 10 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Okay. Red eye back to New England.
So you're not watching that Netflix thing with her? There's no chance you're watching that Netflix stuff.
No, but I watch it by myself. I don't want to watch it with her.
I thought you said you were going to watch it with
No,
her.
we could, but like thinking about it, I want to watch. That's a solo thing for me. That's a be in my feels type of by myself.
No question. That's what it was for me.
Yeah. I want to be alone. I don't want to be with anybody else. I want to be by myself watching that and just reliving 2004 and going like, I know where I was that game. I know where I was in that game and that game and that game and that game and that game.
I can tell you this right now. It's better than any game that you're going to watch tonight. It's so good.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
It's so good. And to the guys that reached out on the Twitter that I recommended this thing, you're welcome.
Daniel, really? Can we not?
Happy tissues.
Can we not? I don't know, JC and KC. I'm on it. Okay. I'm on it. I'm betting it myself, but I don't feel good about it. Okay. Boston's not losing the Celtics against the Wizards, but the Bruins and the Stars is a wow game. I mean, it's
a pick 'em game, and I'd say Stars, but I'd say lay off.
Boston lost last game, though. I like Boston.
I know.
I like Boston tonight.
You got Swayman and Ottinger?
Yes, it has to be. Boston's playing the Stars. You have to play Swayman tonight. You cannot not. And I love the Stars. Stars are my pick to win it all.
Under the?
Probably 5.5, probably on that. The Heisman race is really interesting.
Right.
So we're going to see this kid tomorrow night. Can't wait to go see him. Ashton Genty from Boise State. He will be with the Boise State Broncos as they head to Vegas for the big game in the Mountain West Conference on Friday nights at Allegiant Stadium. But Cam Ward, 2-1. Dylan Gabriel, 350. Travis Hunter has passed his quarterback in Sanders at 15-1. Klubnik from Clemson, 20-1. And Carson Beck from Georgia at 25-1. 3-horse race, or is it a 2-horse race? Because quarterbacks tend to win this thing. Can you see a running back in Genty from a Boise State Mountain West Conference winning the Heisman Trophy?
So I did wager talk today with Teddy and Prez, and we mentioned this Heisman thing.
Okay.
Someone from the Power Five, the last time they won the Heisman, not from the Power Five, I mean, you're not going to get it. It was before we were born.
Oh, okay. Forget it then. Okay.
Roger Staubach was at Navy.
Navy. Okay. Yeah.
So as good as Genty is,
right. That's what I mean. I think it's a 2-horse race. It's a quarterback award. So I don't think he can win it. I think people are gonna. I think it's gonna be either Ward or Gabriel are gonna win it. And I think Ward's gonna win it. I think Ward's gonna have the best campaign.
When they ask me, are you in the market? And I'm like, I'm only in the market because of the content.
Right.
This is not a market that I bet. Although I have bet it in the last couple of years, I used to book it and I hated it because the fluidity of the movement. Guy has a good game. You just have to move it from 20-1 to 10-1 based on nothing.
Yeah.
Like just on where you think the other ones are going to end up. It's a lot of, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of conjecture, speculation, very short-term results oriented.
Well, football guy, Genty breaking the record for Barry. He does it in the Mountain West Conference. It's not going to hold weight to the coast.
I don't know.
It's not. Nah, it's not going to hold weight to the coast. Oklahoma State.
Those other guys got to be undefeated, no?
Clemson's not undefeated. Why is Klubnik on it?
Because no one else is.
Travis Hunter's not undefeated. Like there's a bunch of teams aren't undefeated.
Travis Hunter is who said that? Travis
of course,
Hunter is the best player.
Yeah, of course, but he's not. But it's a quarterback award.
Is the best football player in the country, but it's a QB award. It's true. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Ward just has to. I think Ward can afford a loss. He just has to be in the playoffs. If Ward's in the playoffs, then he's winning the Heisman.
We have so much more time. It feels like we're at the end of college football.
Not.
We're at the really good part right now.
Yep.
We're at the, what is this, 2/3 of the way through?
Yep.
Like there's still
a little less than that, but
more monster games left for teams within a conference game.
Yep.
So who's the favorite today is not necessarily going to be the favorite in 2 weeks, let alone 3 weeks. I'd be searching for them guys in them 20s just to lock in a price to get to New York and you have maybe a shot. All that being said, it's going to be
quarterback award. Number 1 Oregon is laying 21.5 points at home against number 20 Illinois. Favorites of 20 or more in a ranked versus rank game are 17-7-1 against the spread since 2020.
Come on.
It gets even worse for Illinois. Dan Lanning off a bye with Oregon as a 14-point favorite or higher. It's happened twice. The combined score of those games, 79-19. Illinois is going to get annihilated this weekend.
Come on.
Lay it with the Duck.
It's been a fun story with Illinois, and that was a hell of a game they played last week. And those helmets were amazing. Those helmets were amazing. What they did to make them helmets look old, thought it was awesome. All that being said, they're going to get smoked.
How
are they going to score enough points? That's the question. Oregon just played Purdue.
Oregon starts with 40. So you just go from there. How many points is Illinois going to score?
At Purdue, 35-0. So they covered the number because they didn't allow the other team to score. Yeah, this is going to be a
house
beat down.
Favors 20+ more in a ranked versus ranked game or 17-7-1 ATS since 2010. Your Penn State Nittany Lions are not getting any respect on the road as a 6.5-point favorite at Wisconsin. Penn State will play their second game this year as a top 5 team as a 7-point favorite or less. Since the year 2000, only 4 other teams have had that happen to them in a college football season. Odds makers don't believe in your team.
Nobody does.
And this might be why. Wisconsin's 10-4 ATS is a home dog since 2001. That's the best in the country.
I saw that. I'm really just going to let this one go. I'm just going to sleep on this and get ready for tomorrow's show. And what's coming? AOWN Badgers money line. That's fine. I'm very worried about this game. I had to go on and talk about this game right before the show with the guys down in Knoxville. And we were talking about the SEC and all this other stuff. And they're like, oh, by the way, Dave, what about your game? And the jump around and the Badgers, and it's at night, and it's the bid. I'm like, And they play Ohio State next week.
It's college football in its prime glory. Trap game.
Oh, it sucks.
Massive night game in Wisconsin.
Situation stinks.
Bucky playing for nothing. No, you can throw out everything. The kitchen sink is coming at you guys. This is a chance to beat a top 5 team at home. Penn State's got no motivation. They have the biggest game of the year right next week, right in front of them. This is Trap City, man. This is a bad spot.
So we get in these things where, like, the universe tells us who we're working with, or like, things happen, right? We were this close to being in-state college on Friday next week.
Really?
Was talking about some things, and I was like, yeah, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. And then this thing came up to go west on Friday next week. And I thought, I've always, like, every time I think I'm going to go to a game, the game ends up being a dud, and I don't go,
Right.
I've been to games that end up being better than I thought. And I was like, I guess I'm just supposed to be here. There's a reason why we're going to San Diego to go watch the Breeders' Cup on next Friday. And it scares me because I'm like, if we were going to sit with Pat and the boys and all this other stuff, like for real possibilities at my school. And then that thing came up to go to West. I'm like, yeah, we're going to the Breeders' Cup. But maybe that means maybe that means they're going to lose this weekend, and it's not going to be that. Can't even believe I said that shit.
Look out.
Sorry, Will.
It's a trap game for sure. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. All right. One more college game, then we'll move on to the games tonight. Michigan is 3-13 against the spread since 2008 against Michigan State. That's the least profitable rivalry favorite over that span.
Wait a second. Michigan State's playing Michigan. They're 5.5. What is that? You think Michigan State outright?
3-13 is unbelievable.
Outright?
Since 2008, Michigan State is 13-3 against the number against their in-state rival.
Oh man, 313 represent. 313 represent tomorrow. Like, you're going to have to say it because I don't want to have to say it.
Michigan may be
Michigan
big.
State.
This is just like we talked about. Alabama and Michigan both replaced legendary coaches. And at this point in the season, things are unraveling for both Alabama and Michigan.
Oh, man, I don't know. Michigan State's bad.
Michigan's quarterbacks are terrible.
Oh, God.
I agree, Nate. They're terrible. Both of them are terrible. Absolutely terrible. Both of them. All right, the Celtics are on the road to the Wizards. They're laying 14 on the road tonight.
The only reason this even appears on the rundown is because the name of the show is called.
Well, and also Boston just hit 29 fucking threes in their last game.
Oh!
So that's why it's appearing, because they just went up and put a 29 spot in their home opener.
Yeah.
And the Wizards stink.
Yeah. The Wizards do stink.
I wouldn't lay this, even so. Boston's going to take their foot off the gas.
2
tonight.
touchdowns?
They take their foot off the gas tonight.
Touchdowns.
This is an ultimate trap spot. This is an ultimate relaxed spot for Boston.
It's
the Wizards.
The second game of the season.
Yeah, but you go
Tank and Palooza.
I know, but when you come out of the gate like that and you do what they did, it's tough to get up for the Washington Wizards. It's tough to be excited to go on the road to play in DC tonight.
You know what would help you get up? Blue Chew.
What?
Segment brought to you by Blue Chew.
Blue
Maybe
Chew.
we'll do a read for Blue Chew. What? I don't. Hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, be careful. I'd take the dog. I wouldn't lay it, but Boston, with that case, Boston might wins by 100. Look, yes, first half team total 63.5. There's your adjustment. Do not bet this.
63.5 on the road.
Yes,
Hello.
do not bet this on the road, guys. This is not what that trend is. A home trend. It is not a road trend for Boston. I would bet under. That.
Fish Killer 73. Take a whiz on the money line. No.
No.
They're not losing.
No, they're not losing. Not losing this game, but they may not cover the game. Spurs are at the Mavericks. A little Texas two-step tonight. 8.5-point favorite. Wembanyama makes his season debut tonight.
Excited to see the Wemby.
Hell of a game. Wemby against Luka. Great game. Big number.
Big moment yesterday in the Consig household. We were sitting around and Kendall was on the she was on the PS5 and she's like, "Can I get 2K?" And I immediately said, "Yes." And Jessica said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I want to get 2K." And I said, "Well, we got to make sure she says it's okay." So we downloaded 2K. We got it. And she started playing with the WNBA. It was amazing, the video game. But then we switched to NBA. And I was just watching because she knows all the controls and I don't. So I'm a huge dog. I'm not playing her because she's going to tell me about it, make threes in my face. I'm not ready for that from a 10-year-old. But I was like, she picked the Mavs one game because of Luka.
Okay.
And I was like, look at his ratings. Oh, my goodness. Like, he's that good.
Mm-hmm.
Luka props tonight. Probably a lot of PRA over and all that other crap.
Fair.
Mavs are winning.
Mm-hmm.
But Luka's lighting them up tonight.
Fun game to watch.
Yeah.
OKC at Denver is the game of the night. Denver at home only lost 8 games all year last season.
Oh, man. I mean, this is just, you're supposed to play Denver in this spot. 100%. Yes.
Okay. I didn't.
You played OKC? Yeah, you're supposed to play Denver in this spot.
On opening night? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah. That short number. That short number's, if we don't have to give you more than that and you're willing to take that, that's the spot that you push in on the favorite, in my opinion.
We'll see. The shooting for Denver is a big question mark.
Yeah.
It's a big question mark. Look, I think Jokic has a big game tonight. If you want to prop overs on points, I think Jokic scores a lot of points tonight. But this OKC team, I'm gonna equate it to the Celtics and the Knicks. Like everybody, I think OKC is the best team in the West. This is the second best team in the West, arguably. The first best team's got to go flex a bit here on opening night.
On the road?
Yeah, happened last night. Bucks destroyed the Sixers doing the same thing.
Sixers were shorthanded.
OKC is deep.
The Sixers are a automatic bet against when he's not in the lineup.
100%. Both.
I don't care where, and I
and
don't care who. Like they are going to be rough for a while without Embiid. So
yeah, I think the Thunder are going to be. I think this is a flex spot.
Damn, this is a good game. You're right. This is a busy night.
This is a great game, and then T-Wolves at the Kings to end it out. Pick them.
Holy crap!
Mm-hmm.
Another good game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Minnesota
off their loss.
Yeah.
Second game for them.
Play them, right?
Second game for them. Most likely, yeah. Kings opener, but it's a fun arena. That's going to be a rocking atmosphere on opening night for Sacramento. Tough place to go play on opening night. LA with the Lakers. T-Wolves had a real tough start to their schedule with the Lakers in Sacramento back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but first 2 games.
I think Wolves.
Probably second game out of the. I agree. 3 NHL games to highlight. Stars at Bruins. Short number for the Bruins.
Wait, this is way too much going on. I'm Stars.
I'm
Under.
Probably, yeah. Panthers at the Rangers.
Oh, geez, I didn't even look at this.
Good game.
I've been so engrossed in the college football with all the shows that I did today.
Yeah.
I went on with Brommel Camp for 30 minutes this morning in Iowa at 6 o'clock in the morning.
What's up?
Gave us a very glowing report today. It was great.
Good.
And his phone lines lit up after. So
nice.
Hopefully, if you guys are from Iowa or watching or listening, thank you. Iowa is everywhere. There's no question about that. Overta? This is an Overta game, no?
In New York, yeah. I mean,
there might be a lot of talking, fisticuffs, bumping, penalties. Like
power plays.
This is one of those situations.
Oh, by the way, it's the Smith. It's not Ottinger. It's the Smith for the Stars. That change your mind?
Yes.
Swayman. Go Bruins.
Wow.
That's good.
Sometimes they treat these out-of-conference games, these one trips.
Throwaways.
Play the backup. We don't need. They don't need to see Otter. Damn it. Well, I don't like the under.
No.
And I mean, the Smith was from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
That's not good. That's good for the Bruins. Good for you.
Very much. And then finally, 6-0 Winnipeg. They're 6-0 at the Kraken. Road favorites in Seattle till it's 5.5. At some point, Winnipeg loses, do they not?
Yeah. I don't know if it's tonight though. Honestly, I would only play Seattle like pregame.
Okay.
Man, we're going to be locked into
It's a lot.
sports today.
It's a lot of
is
games.
just way too much when they put the football on a Thursday and then the baseball starts tomorrow, which is
Yep.
going to completely mess me up. Wow, that's a good hockey game. That's going to be a fun hockey game to watch. That both can fly. What's the total in that? Winnipeg and Seattle, 5.5 over.
Can you take? How about taking the Bruins plus 1.5 goals?
Oh,
with the Celtics. Hold on. Let's see what that
parlay. Take the Bruins in regulation.
Oh, the Bruins are favored now.
Yes.
Wow, yeah, that flipped. Oh, yeah, no, they always
favored.
They always favored. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
can you take the Bruins in regulation to get the plus?
Let's see. Or you can do
the Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Bruins in regulation is plus 130. And then you take and you can parlay it with the Celtics if you want to do a B's and C's. And that is a plus 154 parlay. That's it. Celtics are minus 950 on the money line.
Doesn't add much
value to
No.
Hard to find a dance partner when it's minus 950.
I have to think though that the C's and B's parlay is going to win tonight.
Better to win. All right, I'm not fucking around. I'm just going to go ahead and take the Vikings. I'm not playing with this. I'm just taking the better team, period. I don't care about Puka. I don't care about Cup. I'm going against everybody. Line move. You're going to have your CLV, everybody. Give me the defense. Rams defense sucks.
Again, I'm going on Sports Grid for the pregame show, and I already have what I'm wearing out. It's all Rams stuff because the books and the sharp guys are all going to be on the Rams. I don't see it. But again, doesn't mean it's not right. Good luck. All you content people, pad those prop bets, all that other crap. I don't think this game lives up to the over. I don't. I'm leaning under.
I agree there.
The week after playing the Lions, is that a thing?
Butchie, what you haven't been this adamant on a play in a long time. How badly do you guys need the Rams?
109 Rams. Puka is playing.
This is the 5th time he's written this. He's been doing. When a bookmaker is this adamant about taking the Rams, I don't trust you. How about that?
Are you getting on? Is this real body parts play? Do you need the Vikings for body parts?
Yeah, he's really wanting people to bet the Rams. Like he's really interesting. It is interesting to see. He's this adamant
at 109. That's when it came out that Puka was playing.
Yeah, but Cup is playing, Puka is playing. Okay, I don't care. I bet it last night thinking, but they both were going to play. The defense for the Rams is awful. Give me this offense. Give me JJ. Give me the running game. Give me the way Sam Darnold's played. Off a loss. Kevin O'Connell's an offensive guy. Give me the Rams. Give me the offense for the Vikings against the Rams defense.
We'll see.
Vikings. Mikey, for you, ODU, money line, outright.
They got to win.
Tonight at home, Thursday night. Let's smash something. Let's smash that defense. Let's go after. Let's hopefully see some defensive football tonight.
I hope this wins. Let's make this a bet. I hope this wins. ODU. Thank you for the super chat, Mikey. If anyone else you want to leave a super chat, just hit that button in the chat on the right. It comes up in a different color. Bet it for the brand. ODU.
Hello.
Yeah.
Be real careful with line move. We talked about this a lot. We're halfway into the year. Line moves don't always mean to follow steam. They're not always right. They might be this time. But just be careful just about trailing blindly. I am very adamant. I got minus 150. I will be looking for an in-game play at some point. I hope we get like a 14, 17 point lead here for the Vikings at some point. We can come back and take the Rams and we can just sit back.
If it closes 2.5, all you need is a 10-point lead. You'll be able to take at least 9.5.
Yep.
If you get a 10-point lead, that would be, ideally, if you get double digits and you have money line on one end.
Yep. Kick your heels up and
plus 10.5.
Middle it.
You've done your job.
Yeah, we middle
You
it.
know?
So that's
Yeah.
that's the goal for this, and not really with ODU, but with the Viking game there is. OKC money line. I like the Thunder to go to Denver tonight and go
Yeah.
send a message.
I'll book this one. That line screams to me to take Denver.
Let's go.
Again,
Okay, let's go Thunder, and then Bruins money line.
confirming Casey DeSmith.
Yes,
How is this only minus 115?
because the Bruins lost their last game.
I'm not buying it. I'm not doing it. I almost said this is a B squared play. I almost did. It's only the
B's
second
and
week
C's
of
parlay.
hockey.
Do it.
Yeah, the
Do a
Celtics are
B-
going to win.
Do a B's and C's
I
parlay.
think the
If
Bruins
your
are
book
gonna
will
win.
allow you to parlay the Celtics hitting minus 950 on that. If you guys are watching live, stick around. Don't move. You're watching the replay. Thank you. Thank you to Adam Bjorn and Prime Sports for on Prime Sports Thursday. Roll Call Friday hits you tomorrow. Busy day on Nevada Day here in Las Vegas. Sports Grid and SiriusXM. Thank you. We're back tomorrow. Same place, same time. The rest of you, bonus time. I'm a market better, not a stat or trend better. Don't really know what that means. I mean, you just follow Steam. That's it. Is that what you're saying? You just follow Steam.
Everybody has a system, man. LL, stick to what you know. If you like it, bet it. Good luck. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. We'll know tonight. We'll know
This is what we say
tomorrow.
all the time. Why would they move off number 3? We never know why, LL. We never
Why
know
not?
why. We never know why.
Somebody took 3 and they were going to
Somewhere.
keep taking 3.
But somebody took 3 somewhere in the world. Like someone took it like somewhere. Like books move on air. So the book you're playing at may have moved it just because a different book moved it. Doesn't mean your book took the bet. Just somebody in some place took the bet.
But again,
Trent's on the Rams.
Yeah, Trent is on the Rams. Oh boy. No, this is one of those things. Like if just compartmentalize it, forget about the markets. They move off of limits. You think they move off of limits? I can tell you what they move off of. I did it for 20 years. A limit play comes in at +3. I don't want to take a second limit play. I go to 2.5. But a limit play could come in from someone at +3, and I'll sit there and wait because I want to take another bet because the person that bet it, I don't think someone else is going to bet it. So, you move it, you run your book however you want to run it. Just because it moved, they're not maxed off the jump. I haven't put it in a chat what book you worked at. I'm curious. We can compare notes. That's awesome. I'm not demeaning anything you're saying. It's just be careful about making general statements about, well, because the book moved off of 3, the Rams are going to win.
LL, there's a big debate. I would say yes to that, but I know people will tell me that they're not. Dave and I have sat with professional gamblers who told us that it's not a sharp book. I mean, it's of an opinion. It's this idea, Dave. I mean, you've watched the show for a long enough time. You should know this. The opinion as to who is sharp and who is not goes on both sides of the counter. It's not just a player thing. It's a book thing too.
So we've had the guys from Circa on the show.
Of course.
We can call them all. I know them all personally.
Mm-hmm.
Circa is a sharp book because other books are not. Circa is a sharp book because they take bettors' bets. They don't kick people out. So I know that sharp bettors, again, I use that term with air quotes, and we're in bonus times now, so can really say whatever we want. So you think it means nothing that the limits hit 100K in Circa and, Chris and such move from 2.5 to 3? It might. They might still need that side. Like, I don't know. I don't think you can make that judgment that, yes, like they may. I've taken a $100,000 bet and not moved the line. I've taken a $5,000 bet and moved the line. So, because that book is that, and that book is that, and everybody has odd screens and all this other stuff, I'd just be like, I don't know. Like, good luck.
Just
I
bet
hope
what
you
think.
win your bet.
Just bet what you think. Don't follow Steam. Just bet what you think. Like whatever you
Well,
think's going to happen.
People read the market. Like people read things into, but you can see ghosts.
Right.
Like I used to say it in the risk room. I've been in the risk room at Circa. Like I can go down there this afternoon and sit with them and tell you exactly Yeah. They took a limit bet at 3. They moved it to 2.5. And guess what? They need the Vikings. They can also need the Rams. They took 100,000 at +3 and need the Rams for $500,000. Does that affect how you're betting? I don't know.
It's a great conversation. I love the conversation. It's as to how you fire, when you fire, what trends are important, what trends are not. The Vikings are 0-6 all time on the road in Thursday Night Football. Yeah, sure. Vikings are 5-1. I mean, how often have they been 5-1? Vikings have been a bad football team for a long period of time.
Listen, the sharp side hasn't won a fucking NFL game in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
True.
Like, every number that moved off of whatever key number and all this other stuff for hundreds of thousands of dollars, they didn't fucking win for 2 weeks.
Road favorites are 16-2 in the NFL over the last 3 weeks.
And again,
so I can throw the same. I can throw numbers back at you. If you want to
Right.
throw numbers, if you want to throw numbers at me, I'll throw numbers back. Like it's fine.
Whoa.
Tell me 0-6. I'll say, okay, 16-2. Which one matters to you? Which
Right.
one makes more? Which one is which weight? Just bet what you think, because you can come up with trends and angles. I love trends. I bet trends all the time, but I don't bet it blindly. I use a trend to then look at a game and go deeper into a game and go, okay, let's look at this number and what happens here and what happens there and line matchups. And, I use it as a tool, but don't do it blindly just because a trend is going in one direction. It helps me get on a game. It also helps me get off a game on top of that. I may not want to do it.
So Liberty beat Kennesaw State yesterday. It's
Yep.
a 27-point favorite. And Wetzel was going crazy on the show. And I said, what if the number was bad?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kennesaw State beating Liberty is a bigger deal because they were a 27-point favorite. Well, what if the number sucked?
Mm-hmm.
What if they should have been a 10-point favorite? Is that now not a big story? Like, is that not? So because an odds maker either down south or here in Vegas or somewhere made a number and said it, it doesn't mean that it's right. Like,
Sharps are wrong more than 40% of the time, AOWN. I mean, we're talking 55, 56%. It's more. It's 44, 45% that they're wrong. I mean,
like, if you could pick anything at 60-40 in this business, you're beyond ridiculously.
And in the NFL, good. I mean, that's Jesus.
Yeah. So
that's
again, sharp, not sharp. I hate those words. I hate the discussion. The whole thing is I've made it where it's rhombuses and parallelograms so people don't get mad, because squares definitely want to be sharp.
Mm-hmm.
But if you call a sharp a square or anything in between, it's fighting words. It's like, man, everybody relax. Just watch the game. I mean, if you like the Vikings, you could probably get them tonight if they don't score first plus 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Adam was talking about the in-game wagering. Pre-game wagering, if you want to take a stand, and, I don't know. I don't know if it's telling LL when a well-known book moves key numbers 5 to 10 minutes before the game.
Is it?
Some of them move it on fakes. Some of them move it to get more bets on that side. 5 to 10 minutes before the game.
This has been my thing for a long period of time, because the people in the media that love to talk to bookmakers, and the bookmakers will give you information that's an hour or 2 hours before kickoff, and it's dead stale by the time the game kicks off. It's the same thing when the line moved right before kickoff. Like, you don't know. Unless you're in the room, you don't know what they're doing. If you're not looking at their actual screen as to what they are doing and listening to 3 people who have the power to move the number, if you don't hear what they're doing, you have no idea. You're literally trying to read tea leaves. And that works for some people. I got it. But you can't sit there and say, well, Circa's a sharp book, so when they move to 3.5 off of 3 right before kickoff, that's the sharp side. That's the right side. You're making a guess. You think that that's what they're doing. You have no idea what they're doing. And literally, Benson's come on here and said that. You don't know what they're doing. Like, you never will. So, like, we'll never be in the room as it happens. We never see it in the real conversation. It's all just numbers on a screen, and we're guessing as to why they're doing what they are doing. I told you this before. I've watched NBA numbers overseas at, quote, Square Books, whatever it is. The NBA numbers are no longer available the next morning. You'll see 2.5 or 3 on a game, and you wake up at 6. And it's like, what the hell was that number overnight? Was that a sharp number, a soft number? Why did they do that? Was that intentional or was that unintentional? Were they trying to lead the market and realize they were dead wrong? Like, we don't know. I can make jokes about it and be like, that was for their friends, but I can't. I have no idea. I have no clue whether they're making that number for their friends or not. They could be, or maybe they're just bad at it. Like, I don't know. So we don't know what these things are going on. Look, LL, if 3 is key and it's painted 2.5, there's people who tell you that 3 doesn't matter anymore. There's people who tell you those key numbers that everyone has played for.
Three is the keyest number in the NFL. It's not.
But I've heard people say that 3 is no longer as relevant as it used to be because extra points are different and 2-point conversions happen way more than ever before.
That doesn't mean they're right either. I mean, the NFL games fall 3 more than any other number.
But it's like 17%. It's not a big number. It's not like it's like 85%. It's like 17%.
Oh yeah, I mean 17% is high compared to
right, but it's still 8 out of 10 not
which
happening.
Is 1%.
Right, but it's still 8 out of 10 times it's not falling 3. So 2 out of it's 2 times out of 10 it's falling 3.
Right,
that's a lot, but it's still a losing proposition if you're just going to go ahead and follow those numbers and be like, oh, it's 2.5, so I got to go ahead and bet the 3 because everyone else is at 2.5, or vice versa. So if
the process works for you,
yes, keep going,
doing whatever you're doing, and
exactly.
Just don't. The only piece of advice I would give at this point is just be very careful, trying to read the market or look at a screen and go that route, because there's a lot of fugazi going on. There's a lot of moves. Like, my book takes big bets, yours does not. My number moves for a different reason than yours does. The paper heads, there's guys that don't move a number. They just give their people the accounts and go, okay, bet it. And then they stiff them when they win and they pay them or collect when they lose. Like, there's so many parts of the business that I think you just got to go, all right, well, Circa moved to 2.5, so the Rams are going to win. I don't think one can mean the other all the time. That's all. That's
in projecting. And look, we're trying to predict what human beings are going to do. One person, one sharp, one bankroll, one person who moves the number doesn't mean they're always right. Books just reacting. You said it before. The books don't really care. The books are just moving when the market moves and when the bets come in. Put a number up and move the number. They don't care who wins.
I just know, because I've done it. If somebody comes in today or yesterday, last night, when we know the game's Thursday, we open up the limits Wednesday, and our limit's $100,000, and they bet and they take +3. I go, okay, I got 2 seconds to decide. I'm taking the bet. Am I moving the number? Is this person going to bet it again? Or do they have friends that are going to bet this again? Answer yes. Go to 2.5. See if somebody lays it. If somebody lays it, I can go back to 3. Nobody's laid it yet. Stay tuned. It's 1:30 Pacific. The game kicks at 5. See if another book goes back to 3. Now, the push back to 3.
Offshore is still 3.
I never have to go back to 3, though, in my book, because I know I can get the bet at 3. So I'll sit and go, you know what? If we end up needing the Rams, that's great. If not, we'll need the Vikings. Doesn't matter. So,
I mean, BetOnline and Bookmaker are both at 3.
Well, they're okay just staying on 3.
Yep.
Which is the easy answer. Right? So is that an indicator? That's you could that's the flip side of the, well, if Circa moved to 2.5, then that's the side. Why didn't those 2 places move to 3?
Yeah, 24-21. I think the final is 24-21.
When my guy, the flat hat, said the game's going to land on 3, I was like, man, if this game lands on 3, oh my goodness.
On 3, it lands 3 for
Vikings
either side, or Vikings -3.
3.
Yeah, Vikings -3. I agree. Vikings -3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
We'll
talking about books that are sitting at 3, and the rest of the market, Circa, Superbook, South Point, DraftKings, Caesars are all at 2.5. Consensus is 2.5, but you've got offshore bookmakers are saying, you know what, we're good. I'm saying at 3. I'm not cutting off of that. You guys can come and get it if you want. Enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
So we know Dave Mason. We know people at other books. It's They're comfortable. They're staying at 3. Like, we're not moving. We're not going to 2.5.
They're taking the guys down south are taking so much money on the election.
Oh, did you see? I sent an email to Alex Kane last night. There's a election betting app that is fucking all over the strip. I mean, they bought billboard on billboard on billboard on billboard. It is nuts. Like, I was like, bet the election here. Use the word bet. Bet the election here. I was like, they're allowed to do that? They can advertise on the strip?
Buy whatever you want on those billboards. They're all for sale. You can buy whatever you want.
I know, but it's technically illegal. You can't do that in America. You can't bet. You can do exchanges. You could do different things. You can't
whatever
bet.
you want on those billboards.
Yeah, but there's still a law. I can't put up there and be like, I'll pay anybody $100,000 to kill this person. I can't do that.
Pay for the billboard. You
can't do that. No, you can't do that. You can't advertise an illegal act on a billboard. No, you can't do that. The company can't take it. They have laws. They have SEC, FTC. There's all laws that come into play with what you're doing with advertising and how you're advertising it. I was like, holy shit. It was like, it was Trump, it was Kamala, it was a bet the election here at something with the name of the company. It was the K. I was fucking stunned.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I've been reading a lot about it. It will be.
It's called Kalshi. Kalshi.
Kalshi. Right.
Kalshi.
Yeah.
Bet on the election. Yeah. Live bets. I don't know if you can see on my phone, but like that's the strip. It's like, what the fuck?
It's fascinating. It will be like the swings on that. You're right. Wild swing CBW. Like, I don't know if you guys remember what happened with the last one.
Oh God. Well, it wasn't the last one. It was 2016. It was the last Trump election.
Right.
The last one where he won.
They had Hillary a big favorite, and then he won, and then the other one flipped. 2020.
He was 5-1.
He was favored. Trump was favored, and he lost. And it was. There's so much manipulation going on. There's a lot of people that are saying a lot of things. Again, if it ever happens, it'll be 100 times the Super Bowl, which is the biggest single betting event that we have.
Mm-hmm.
It would be
dwarf it.
I don't even know how the numbers would go.
It's 4 years of betting into a market.
I mean, you only have to put it up for a year. Once you know like who's running, you could speculate and have the best prices on who's likely to win the nominations. But oh my goodness, so they don't even care about this game tonight. It's the offshores.
Favorite thing about today is what?
We're going to California. Got up this morning, made a call, confirmed everything. Got the travel arrangements locked in, and we're going to be at the freaking first day of the Breeders' Cup. I've only seen the Breeders' Cup from a sports book, or at home, but it's one of those things, like you said, bucket list type thing. Can't wait to see everybody that's, Jeremy helping us a lot, put this together, making sure we're going. Favorite thing about today, I was telling someone else that I talked to this morning. I'm like, hey, you ever been to the Breeders' Cup? No, I'd love to go. I'm like, hey, we're going on Friday. What? Yeah, come on out, hang out. We're going to, watch races, interview jockeys, owners, whomever, bettors. I'm already on the hunt for guys that bet a couple dimes a race.
Okay.
A guy like Adams getting in a contest, it's 10 dimes entry.
Yeah.
That's a horse player. I want to hear what he has to say. Set your guys' notifications next Thursday. You get part of Breeders' Cup plays. It's like playing into the Derby.
It's gonna be fun. For me, favorite thing about today is just the week. Everything that's gone into this week has been awesome. It's been super fun to see how things have gone this week for us with this trip that we're going to be taking. But there's a lot of other things we got cooking, we got going on, got a lot of positive things. This was one announcement. We have other announcements coming up. We have other live shows to tell you guys about, hopefully very soon. So it's been a very productive week. It's been a very productive.
I thought you were actually going to say it.
I'm not going to say it yet. No, but it's coming. I mean, we will have opportunities for you guys. If you guys aren't going to be at the Breeders' Cup, We'll have other live show opportunities. And if you guys know anybody you want to bring us out, this is something that we talked about. Dave and I talked about it last year about wanting to take the show more on the road. We have still not done a show in Pittsburgh. That has to happen. We have still not done a show in Boston. That has to happen. We've still not gone to Omaha. That has to happen. There's a bunch of different places that make a ton of sense for us to do live shows from.
We got invited to Iowa today when I did the show at Bromwell Camp.
Which coast of Iowa? Bromwell Camp side or my side?
He said that next year,
okay,
UMass is playing Iowa
football. Yeah,
and he goes,
Iowa.
And I go, listen. If I'm going to come to Iowa, can I come when Penn State plays?
Yeah, you don't want UMass.
I said,
no.
UMass. I said, Peralt doesn't give a shit about UMass football.
No.
And he's like, but they're on the schedule. And I'm like,
Who cares? That's a
50-0
win.
That's what I said. I was like,
game.
how are we going to hype that week up?
That's an awful. No, it's more fun to go to the boats in Council Bluffs for either Creighton, Nebraska, or Creighton,
well, I told
Kansas.
Him we're working on the Creighton thing.
Yeah, Creighton, Kansas is the. I mean, Creighton plays here. Ryan Kalkbrenner just got picked to the preseason Big East Player of the Year yesterday, which is sweet. But they're coming for 3 games here in November, and then they go home and they play Kansas at Omaha
on a Tuesday.
So that's the Allegiant Stadium. Fly in, or sorry, the Allegiant Airlines. You fly Vegas to Omaha on Allegiant, go turn around, stay over, turn around, come back. The head of the Charles is this weekend. Really, Ross? It's a Boston reference, but it's not what you think.
Pause.
Not what you think.
I read it and I was going to say it. Then I was like, wait, does that say the head of the Charles?
It's a boat race. It's a big crew race.
It sound like a boat race?
It's a boat race. Not motorboat. We're not motorboating, but it's not a motorboat race. It is a crew race for the head of the Charles is this weekend. It's a big deal. It's a big yuppie drinking fest. Yeah.
Oh, one of those.
A lot of rich people in Izod t-shirts going ahead and drinking.
Love the Izod.
Their high-end beverages watching this, with their pinkies up, watching crew races for that. So, yeah, at least they didn't call it the head of the Richard. Head of the Charles River. Yes, that race is happening. Roll call Fridays tomorrow, boys. Saturday tomorrow. Hopefully see you all here. Big day. UNLV plays Boise State here in town. The biggest college game of Friday will be here in Las Vegas. How about that? UNLV and Boise. He's Dave. I'm Matt. Back tomorrow. Hope to see you all for a Friday. Roll call Friday. BBB.